and we need to face it in a smart way. And it takes a surgeon's knife rather than a sledgehammer to look at IP. And what we've learned in dealing with China, bilateral is often difficult.
So that was the CEO of Silicon Valley Leadership Group, Carl Guardino, on our show yesterday, actually praising President Trump for loosening his grip on that, as Guardino put it, sledgehammer approach in dealing with China's intellectual property theft and investment in U.S. technology companies. This, as news broke this morning, that China will now open up more parts of its vast economy to foreign investment. They say they're going to loosen or remove restrictions in various industries, including railways, shipping, and power grids. Meanwhile, Silicon Valley venture capitalists, the VCs, they're the lifeblood of some of the Valley's biggest startups in tech. Already, many of them have China's money flowing through their arteries, which is why we wanted to bring in our next guest. He's a Silicon Valley legend and has been dubbed by some as Silicon Valley's bad boy after being asked to step down from the semiconductor giant he co-founded. He discovered his own chairman had ties to an outfit supported by wealthy Chinese investors dying to snap up U.S. tech. TJ Rodgers joins us live. Welcome back to the program. It's great to see you again, TJ. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You discovered, just to let our viewers know, that Chinese money was lurking around Cypress Semiconductor. Your chairman, Ray Bingham, was apparently connected to Canyon Bridge Partners, which had Chinese money flowing in. What did you see as the biggest problem with that?
Well, my problem was that the chairman of our company was also the leader, CEO equivalent of it wasn't Chinese investment, it was solely Chinese investment firm. And obviously, you know, you can't serve two masters. That was a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think that it's really important to also point out that you won. I mean, he eventually had to step down. You got board members that you had supported to be put into place. But tell us why. What is the biggest danger of taking Chinese money for U.S. technology companies?
Well, you have to differentiate. For example, I believe that many Sandhill venture companies have some Chinese investment. And money's money. Money goes into Sandhill. It starts companies in Silicon Valley, creates technology. Other companies, though, are merely fronts for Chinese money. And the Chinese have a plan. It's a written plan, and it says they plan to be preeminent in 10 areas. One of them was chips. That was the one I was worried about. And it's a 5-year plan. So then one of the ways to do that, of course, is to buy companies.
Right. So
the company you talked about earlier, Canyon Bridge, tried to buy Lattice Semiconductor in the U.S., and that was shut down by CFIUS. So it depends upon if it's just an investment or if it's a front for Chinese money with a political agenda behind it.
Okay. Now, the president is saying, let's leave it up to CFIUS, which is the Committee for Foreign Investment, right, in U.S. companies. Do you agree with that tact, or do you think that we need to ramp it up and be even more heightened in our concern about letting Chinese companies invest? Because we know it's been proven they steal our intellectual property, and some of this in what's happening in Silicon Valley is really important to national security.
Well, I think I don't agree with the president on a lot of policies, but I think in this case he's got about the right tone. For example, CFIUS is not a toothless dragon. CFIUS shut down that Lattice acquisition deal that I talked about earlier.
Right.
And the current bill, to my understanding, is to make it a more organized, more powerful group. And the fact is they have all the power required to make people aware of things, and the president then makes a decision based on their recommendation. So I think that's enough. And beyond that, there's bad behavior. You said it. They're in it to steal technology. For example, a mandate that if you want to take your technology and sell it in China, a huge market, you have to manufacture in China, and therefore you have to send your IP to China. That's wrong.
Yeah.
And the way to get that fixed, I mean, we could go into a trade war, but that would harm both parties. So a president who's pounding on the table says, we're not going to put up with this, and is credibly saying that, is about the right angle right now, the right approach right now. If we go any farther, then we're going to have a trade war, a big one, and that'll hurt everybody.
Okay. I want to bring in Gordon Chang to the conversation. He's author of The Coming Collapse of China. Gordon, when a door shuts, the Chinese find a basement window to come in. Where are they looking to insert themselves in U.S. tech right now?
Just about everywhere, Liz. What you were referring to is the statement from Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, who on Thursday at the CEO Global Forum told a group of 20 foreign CEOs that, if the United States closes its doors, he said, we'll find another one that's open. He was actually referring to Europe in that particular case because he thinks that the European Union, 28 countries, they don't have a screening process like CFIUS. And also, he feels that he can sort of play one country in the EU off against another. So that's where he's really looking at right now.
TJ, what about that? And as you look at stressing why you don't want to cut off any lifeblood for startups, you are sitting on the boards of a whole bunch of startups. Would you reject Chinese investment money?
If the Chinese investment money was indirect, that is, it came into some sandhill venture firm and then were invested in the company, which would mean the investment would be known, but the proprietary nature of the company would not be passed through the venture firm, I wouldn't care about that. On the other hand, if a Chinese company comes in and wants to be the sole investor and in effect take control of a startup that's got critical technology, no, I wouldn't do that.
Do you agree, Gordon, with TJ that the president has the right tone and tack right now?
Well, at least for the moment. If, however, he's not able to move the Chinese, then I think we're going to have a more difficult conversation about what we need to do. TJ is absolutely right. If you have an investor who has commercial motives, that's one thing. But China, with its Made in China 2025 plan, which is what he was referring to earlier, doesn't have commercial motives. It has a motive to take technology, and that is completely inconsistent with the way we operate our economy.
TJ Rodgers, Gordon Chang, I'd love to have both of you back because we have tension between the two countries right now. Thank you so much for joining us.